For more on this, let's bring in Barbara Smith, a former law clerk to Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito. She also worked in the White House counsel's office for President George W. Bush. And Brianne Gorod, chief counsel for the Constitutional Accountability Center and former law clerk for Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer. Welcome to both of you. Brianne,
thank you.
To you first. Democrats are expressing some concerns, maybe a lot of concerns about this nomination. How about you?
Yeah, there are a lot of reasons to be concerned. There are a number of troubling aspects of Judge Gorsuch's record. A penchant for siding with corporate interests and corporations over individuals, trying to hold them accountable when they violate the law. A penchant for not respecting federal civil rights protections passed into law by Congress. And a real antipathy to the role of the courts as a forum for vindicating individual rights and protections guaranteed in the Constitution. I mean, this nominee has a very heavy burden, a burden of showing that he has mainstream views, that he will put law over ideological preferences, and critically that he is independent of the president who appointed him. I mean, it's worth keeping in mind the context in which this nomination comes. We're just days past the announcement of the president's Muslim ban, his firing of the acting attorney general for refusing to defend that ban. I mean, we need to know that Judge Gorsuch does not share the, frankly, authoritarian views of the president who nominated him, and that he respects the critical role of the courts as an independent check on illegal action by the executive branch.
Well, because words matter, it's worth pointing out that it's not a Muslim ban, it's a travel ban, and it is temporary. I just wanted to go to you, Barbara. What is your view of Judge Gorsuch?
Yeah, I just have to fundamentally disagree with that analysis of his record. I think Judge Gorsuch has thought long and hard about what the proper role of a federal appellate judge is in our constitutional system. He's a textualist and an originalist, and what that means is that he reads the text of the statute or the constitutional provision that comes before him, and then he neutrally applies the facts of the case to that law. And I think that's the kind of justice we want to see on the Supreme Court. You know, I think his qualifications are really unchallenged. There's no way you can say he's not extremely well qualified to sit on the court given his view of the role of a judge. I just don't think it's fair to level substantive charges at him based on what you think, his view of particular issues might be, because the fact is we don't know.
He is a fan, an acknowledged fan of the writings of the late Antonin Scalia, the man that he would replace Brianne. A conservative justice replacing a conservative justice. What's wrong with that?
Well, I mean, the key question is, will he follow all of the Constitution or just the parts of the Constitution that he particularly likes? It's also worth keeping in mind the promises that candidate Trump made throughout the campaign, which was that he was going to apply a litmus test to his nominee, that he would make sure that his nominee would vote to overrule Roe v. Wade, that his nominee would have particular views on guns and on religious liberty. I mean, that is very unusual, and it's very troubling.
Hillary Clinton said the same thing regarding litmus tests on Roe v. Wade.
Litmus tests are a problem, no matter what candidate articulates them. The question for any justice is whether they will faithfully apply the text and history of the Constitution. And, given what we have seen from Judge Gorsuch, there's, a need to look very seriously at his record and also to know whether he has made promises to the president and whether he will, when cases come to them, take them as they come, look at what the law requires, or whether he's going to put his ideological preferences first.
But witness the justices we have sitting now, Barbara. Justices interpret the law in very different ways.
Sure, and I think if we want an answer to the question, how will Justice Gorsuch interpret the law, we can listen to his own words from his speech just last night, where he said he was acutely aware of his own imperfections and he would faithfully apply the statutes that he's interpreting and the Constitution as it's written. So I take him at his word that that's the kind of judge he intends to be. And I think, there's to add a little levity to the conversation, I think there's something Brianne and I can agree on, which is we'd both love to see a justice on the Supreme Court sitting with his former boss, Justice Kennedy. As a former Supreme Court clerk myself, I think that would be an incredible thing to see for the court and for both of them.
It will be interesting, assuming he is confirmed, and that is not a given just yet. Barbara Smith, Brianne Gorod, thanks very much.
Thank you.